In this video, we're going to tell the chilling true story of an American family who set off to sail around the world, but made one fatal mistake that cost them everything. It's the kind of error that seems small in the moment until it spirals into irreversible tragedy. While many dream of life at sea, few understand how thin the line really is between adventure and disaster. This family's journey was meant to be unforgettable, and it was, but for all the wrong reasons. Today we'll break down exactly what went wrong, why it happened, and what every sailor must learn from it. From crucial oversights in planning to safety protocols that were either ignored or misunderstood, this is more than just a story. It's a powerful lesson for anyone who sets sail. We'll analyze the choices, the warning signs, and how one decision sealed their fate. So join us as we retrace their voyage, piece together the events, and uncover the hard truths of offshore sailing. If you've ever dreamed of casting off and chasing the horizon, this is one story you can't afford to miss. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell, because knowing what not to do might one day save your life. The Johnson family embodied the ideal of freedom and adventure. John, 45, was a naval engineer with 15 years of coastal cruising experience and a 2018 transatlantic crossing, a confident man at the helm determined to fulfill his dream. Sarah, 42, a biology teacher, had only 2 years sailing smaller boats, but her enthusiasm for the family project drove her forward, despite her inexperience with long passages. Emily, 16, was a curious teenager, quickly learning to trim sails, read nautical charts, and operate the autopilot. Michael, 12, the youngest, dreamed of spotting whales and exploring tropical islands, though he admitted in quiet moments to fearing big waves. Together, they planned a 3-year circumnavigation, starting in the South Pacific, a route promising coral beaches, remote atolls, and the ultimate sense of freedom. In May 2023, they purchased the Horizon Seeker, a 45-foot Beneteau Oceanus sloop built in 2004. The boat, bought used for $150,000, had a reinforced fiberglass hull, a 55-foot deck-stepped aluminum mast, and a sail configuration including a 135% furling Genoa and a mainsail with lazy jacks for easy handling. Over 12 months, the family prepared with near-obsessive dedication. They took advanced courses in navigation, marine meteorology, and sea survival, all certified by sailing associations. They stocked 60 days' worth of provisions, freeze-dried meals, canned goods, 100 gallons of potable water in reinforced tanks. They installed a Spectra water maker producing 15 gallons per hour, 400-watt solar panels to charge 600 amp-hour lithium batteries, and an Iridium Go satellite communication system for weather updates and shore contact. The boat was equipped with 4 automatic life jackets, each with strobe lights and integrated personal locator beacons, safety harnesses, a VHF radio with digital selective calling, a registered 406 MHz EPIRB, and a 4-person inflatable life raft stored on deck under a protective cover. Despite all the care, one decision compromised the voyage's safety: not replacing the Horizon Seeker's original rigging. Made of 10mm 1x19 stainless steel wire with swage fittings, the rigging was 21 years old, far beyond the recommended 10 to 15-year replacement interval in marine environments. Constant exposure to saltwater accelerates corrosion and metal fatigue, weakening cables in ways often invisible. Replacing the rigging would cost about $5,500, a sum John, after reviewing the family budget, deemed unnecessary. In May 2024, he conducted a visual inspection using a flashlight and a low-power magnifying glass. He noticed a broken strand in the port lower shroud, a clear sign of metal fatigue, but downplayed it. "It's just one strand, Sarah. These cables are built to handle way more than we need," he said with the confidence of someone who'd sailed thousands of miles. Emily, helping with inspections, flipped through the boat's manual and read aloud, "Any broken strand indicates imminent risk of failure." She looked at her father. "Shouldn't we replace it all, Dad?" John, with a reassuring smile, replied, "Manuals are overcautious, honey. If it was serious, I'd know." Sarah, hesitant, agreed, trusting her husband. That choice, blended with optimism and cost saving, sowed the seed of tragedy. The chosen route to kick off their adventure was a Pacific classic, departing from Honolulu, Hawaii, bound for Nukuhiva in the Marquesas Islands, a 2,400 nautical mile crossing. They planned an average speed of 5 to 6 knots, or 5.75 to 6.9 miles per hour, estimating 18 to 22 days of sailing, depending on conditions. The departure was set for June 1, 2025, at the start of the Central Pacific hurricane season, which runs from June 1st to November 30th. Though risky, many sailors consider June an acceptable window, as the most intense cyclones typically occur between August and October. John, after reviewing long-range forecasts and consulting other sailors on online forums, decided the risk was manageable. "If the weather turns, we've got room to divert," he assured the family, pointing to the nautical chart spread across the cabin table. The first 7 days of the crossing were a dream come true. Northeast trade winds blowing between 12 and 18 knots pushed the Horizon Seeker gently, while 3 to 5 foot waves rocked the boat like a cradle. The Genoa was fully unfurled, and the mainsail, with one reef for control, kept the boat at a steady 6 knots. The Raymarine autopilot, set to a 210-degree course, allowed the family to relax in shifts. John and Emily took turns at the helm, fine-tuning the course using the integrated Garmin GPS. Sarah, in the cabin's galley, prepared simple meals on the gimbaled stove: lentil stews, pasta with canned sauce, pancakes from a premix. Michael, armed with a notebook, logged marine life. A pod of dolphins followed the boat for an hour, leaping at the bow. Sea turtles floated lazily. An albatross glided in the distance, its white wings gleaming against the blue sky. At night, under the Milky Way, the family gathered in the cockpit, wrapped in light blankets. The sound of waves against the hull was a lullaby. "This is freedom," Sarah said one night, pointing out the constellation Orion. Michael, eyes shining, asked, "Are we going to see whales in Nukuhiva, Mom?" Sarah smiled. "Of course, a sweetheart, and corals and colorful fish." John, at the helm, added, "And atolls so beautiful you'll forget Hawaii." On the 8th night, 1,200 miles from Honolulu, tranquility was shattered. John, checking weather updates via the Iridium Go, received an alert. A tropical depression was forming 500 miles to the east, with 25-knot winds and potential to intensify. He opened synoptic charts on the laptop, plotting the system's projected path. "It'll pass north, about 200 miles from us," he concluded, showing the chart to Sarah. She, cautious, suggested, "Wouldn't it be safer to divert south, just in case?" John, trusting the forecast, replied, "If we divert, we lose 3 days, maybe 4. The depression won't hit us." Emily, overhearing, asked, "What if it changes direction?" John reassured her, "Big storms like this follow patterns, honey. We're fine." That decision, seemingly logical, was the second mistake. Underestimating the Pacific's unpredictable weather, where tropical systems can shift course in hours. On the 9th night, the depression escalated into a tropical storm, named Kalia. Updates received at 8 p.m. reported winds of 40 to 50 knots, or 46 to 57.5 miles per hour, and 15 to 20-foot waves. Worse, the system had veered southwest, putting the Horizon Seeker directly in its path. John, now visibly worried, adjusted the course 10 degrees south, hoping to skirt the storm's edge. But Kalia, moving at 15 knots, was too fast. At 2 a.m. on the 10th night, the boat was engulfed by brutal conditions. Howling winds tore foam from wave crests, torrential rain reduced visibility to near zero, and 20-foot waves crashed over the deck, flooding the cockpit. John, face wet and tense, reduced sail to the minimum, leaving only a partially furled Genoa for stability. He attempted to heave to, positioning the boat at a 45-degree angle to the waves, a maneuver to minimize impact in storms. The hull creaked under the strain, and the rigging cables hummed sharply, like violin strings about to snap. At 4 a.m., a metallic crack cut through the storm's roar, so loud it made Michael scream. The port lower shroud, the one with the broken strand identified months earlier, gave way under extreme tension. Without lateral support, the 55-foot, 500-pound aluminum mast began to sway violently, overloading the other cables. Within seconds, the forestay snapped, followed by the upper shrouds. The mast collapsed like a felled tree, crashing onto the cabin with a deafening boom. The impact crushed the cabin roof, punching a 2-foot hole in the hull just above the waterline. Salt water poured in, flooding the cabin in minutes, turning the cozy space into a freezing trap. John, struggling to maintain control at the now useless helm, shouted, "Sarah, grab the life jackets! Emily, help Michael!" Sarah, shivering with cold and fear, ran to the lockers, retrieving the automatic life jackets. She handed them to the kids, who put them on with trembling hands as water rose to their ankles inside the cabin. Emily, tears streaming down her face, tethered Michael's harness to the cockpit handrail while he sobbed. "I don't want to die, Mom. Please." Sarah, voice breaking, hugged her children. "Stay with me. It'll be okay." John, desperate, tried to plug the hull breach with a mattress and marine duct tape, but the water pressure was relentless, tearing the material away instantly. "To the life raft," he ordered, rushing to the deck. But the life raft, trapped under tangled cables and mast debris, couldn't be freed. 20-foot waves crashed over the boat, ripping off handrails, sweeping gear away, and making any attempt to reach the raft suicidal. The EPIRB was activated in a hurry, with John pressing the red button while shouting instructions. But in the chaos, no one confirmed whether the device, last tested 6 months earlier, was transmitting. Battery damage or registration issues could have rendered it useless, a common issue in maritime emergencies. The VHF radio, limited to a 20-mile range, was useless without the antenna, destroyed with the mast. John tried a mayday call, yelling, "Mayday, mayday, this is Horizon Seeker," into the microphone, but only static answered. By 5 a.m., the Horizon Seeker was listing 40 degrees, the cabin nearly submerged. The family, now on deck, clung to the handrails, battling icy waves that drenched them. Sarah held Emily and Michael, whispering words of comfort. "I love you. Stay with me." John, face twisted with guilt and despair, tried to cut the cables trapping the life raft with a nautical knife. But a massive wave swept the deck, slamming him against the handrail. He cried out in pain, likely with broken ribs, but kept going, refusing to give up. At 5:30 a.m., the boat, unable to bear the water's weight, sank rapidly, swallowed by the Pacific's dark depths. The family, still tethered to the wreckage or cast into the sea, vanished in the storm's darkness. The water temperature, about 75 degrees Fahrenheit or 24 degrees Celsius, would cause hypothermia in 10 to 12 hours, even with life jackets. South Pacific currents reaching up to 2 knots would scatter any trace quickly. No bodies, no life raft, no sign of life was found. The Horizon Seeker and the Johnsons were consumed by the ocean's vastness, a tragic fate shared by many who underestimate the sea. 4 days after their last scheduled contact, on June 12, 2025, friends of the family, alarmed by the silence, alerted the U.S. Coast Guard. A search operation was launched with C-130 Hercules aircraft scouring the Pacific and Navy ships patrolling a 10,000 square mile area south of the boat's estimated coordinates. After 5 days of intense searching, debris was found. A piece of fiberglass hull with Horizon Seeker painted in blue, a torn life buoy, a floating life jacket with no occupant, no sign of the family. On June 25th, the search was officially suspended, and John, Sarah, Emily, and Michael were declared lost at sea, a verdict that brought grief but no answers. The tragedy stunned sailors worldwide. In nautical forums, debate raged. How could such a prepared family vanish? The answer lay in the rigging. After 15 years, 1 by 19 stainless steel cables can lose up to half their strength due to internal corrosion, even without visible signs. A broken strand, like the one John ignored, is a clear warning of imminent failure, especially in extreme conditions like a tropical storm. The decision to save $5,500, combined with sailing at the start of hurricane season, was a chain of errors that turned a dream into a nightmare. John, with his experience, should have known the sea tolerates no oversights. Sarah, with her caution, should have insisted. But optimism, confidence, and the illusion of control blinded them. The Johnson story is a warning for all sailors, novice or veteran. Rigging must be replaced every 10 to 15 years. No exceptions. And any sign of wear, like broken strands, demands immediate action. Visual inspections aren't enough. Tools like high-power magnifiers or ultrasonic tests can reveal hidden cracks. Weather planning is equally critical. Sailing in hurricane season, even early on, is a gamble. Multiple forecast sources must be checked, and course diversions, however inconvenient, can save lives. Safety equipment, EPIRBs, radios, life rafts, must be tested every 6 months and kept accessible. A life raft trapped under debris, as happened to the Johnsons, is as useless as none at all. Above all, the sea demands respect. Overconfidence, even in seasoned sailors, is as dangerous as inexperience. The ocean offers no second chances. As I retrace the Johnsons' journey, I see them vividly. Emily with her logbook, writing about dolphins dancing at the bow, dreaming of becoming a marine biologist like her mom. Michael sketching whales in his notebook, imagining adventures on coral islands. Sarah in the galley, laughing as she made pancakes, planning the next family dinner. John at the helm, wind in his face, believing the horizon held only promises. They set out with courage, love, and a shared dream. They laughed under the sun, sang under the stars, faced the sea with hope. But one mistake, a broken strand ignored, a cost-saving misjudgment, a storm underestimated, stole everything. They didn't return. The Pacific, vast and unforgiving, kept their secrets, leaving only debris and silence. Sailors honor the Johnsons' memory. Before casting off, check your rigging, cable by cable, fitting by fitting. Study the weather, not just for the day, but for weeks ahead. Test your gear, from EPIRB to life raft, as if your life depends on it, because it does. And never ever underestimate the ocean. It is beautiful but cruel, generous but merciless. At sea, one mistake can be your last. Let John, Sarah, Emily, and Michael's story live on as a beacon, guiding others away from the same fate.